portion of today's programming is provided by Wells Fargo. Our support of Aggie students goes beyond just banking. By supporting News22, we're giving back to the community. Wells Fargo. Together, we'll go far.
Tonight on News22.
A woman is speaking up about taking sanctuary in a church to keep from being deported.
New details about the Texas church shooter emerge.
And New Mexico State University is moving right along with their search for a new chancellor.
All that and more on News22 Wednesday.
Serving southern New Mexico, this is the award-winning KRWG-TV News 22, where news matters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Selena Quintana.
And I'm Melissa Barraza. Even though only a few people voted, Las Cruces have made a significant change on the city council.
In all three council races, the progressive candidate won. Gabriel Vasquez won the race for District 3 with 70% of the vote. Incumbent Jill Sorg from District 5 kept his job with 51% of the vote. And Ivan Flores defeated District 6 incumbent Seal Levantino with 57%. Joy Goldbaum defeated incumbent municipal judge Kenya Colt. These three council members should make it easier to pass a 5-year plan, renovate and attract more businesses to the downtown area, and improve city infrastructure and provide greater access to education. The winners will be sworn in on November 20th. Judge Fernando Macias will once again be the Doña Ana County manager after being voted in by the Board of Commissioners unanimously. This is the second time in the past 2 decades that Macias takes the place. The county board will offer a 4-year, $160,000 contract to Macias. From the year 1997 to 2000, Macias served as county manager before taking executive director at the Juarez-based Border Environment Cooperation Commission. Macias is set to start the county manager's job on January 7th, 2018. The Las Cruces Police Department has filled the position for chief of police. Patrick Gallagher was named the new police chief on Tuesday. Current chief Jaime Montoya announced in July he will retire by the end of this year. Montoya is a 26-year veteran of LCPD and has served as chief of police since December 2013. 54-year-old Gallagher has nearly 30 years of experience in law enforcement, and right now he is the police chief for the Santa Fe Police Department. Gallagher will begin his new assignment on January 15th.
6 Las Cruces police officers are set to go to Puerto Rico to assist with law enforcement duties in the wake of Hurricane Maria. The 6 officers who volunteered are bilingual in English and Spanish. They are scheduled to fly out on November 10th and will stay on the island for 2 weeks. This is not the first time local law enforcement has helped in hurricane relief. Recently, members of the Las Cruces Fire Department went to help Houston in the wake of Hurricane Harvey. And these couple past days have been a little bit chilly and cloudy.
Yeah, they sure have. I mean, you can start getting out those sweaters.
I think it's that time. And Vicky Valderrama is next with weather.
Thanks, guys. This is Victoria Valderrama. Now let's take a look at our Las Cruces current conditions. Right now, if you're outside, there are some cloudy skies. Our temperature at 57 degrees and winds coming from the southeast at 6 miles per hour and humidity at a high 70%. Our dew point sits at 47 degrees and our barometer stays at 30.06 inches. Today in Las Cruces, we had a high of 65 and an overnight low of 43, averaging out to about 66 degrees. Traveling back in time, in 2005, we had a high of 82, and in 2008, we had a low of 27. We did see some rain today at 0.32 inches, so our yearly rainfall stays at 9.81 inches. That's all I have for you now. Back to Selena and Melissa at the desk.
Thanks, Vicky. A woman from Durango, Mexico is taking sanctuary in a church here in Las Cruces.
She says she's been a good, responsible person and deserves to stay in the country. News22's Cristal Corrales is here with more on the story.
One day before she was deported, Marta Lorena Rivera from Alamogordo sought refuge on October 15th of this year. On Monday, she spoke publicly for the first time, sharing her story.
Quiero
With tears in her eyes, this undocumented mother of three prays that immigration will allow her to stay in the United States and avoid being separated from her family. How far does a separated family get if they do not grow within the family circle? Separated families never feel the love and support that united families have. On October 10th, Rivera reported for her annual meeting with ICE to renew her stay of removal. It was then she discovered that her renewal had been denied and that she would be deported to Mexico. I begged them to give me more time so that I could make arrangements for my 8-year-old daughter. She was allowed to return home with an ankle bracelet and told to report within 5 days for her deportation. Rivera says her daughter's health is at risk and she requires frequent visits to the doctor. My daughter has special needs. Her lungs are not mature yet. She lacks a 25% lung development. A stay of removal would grant Rivera temporary relief, postponing the Department of Homeland Security from carrying out the order of deportation. We don't have a voice. Nobody listens to us. I ask that those who speak become my voice and the voice of many of us that are in the same situation so that our families can stop being separated. Rivera is the second person to seek refuge in the city of Las Cruces. The immigrants' right group, called Comunidades en Acción y de Fe, o CAFE, is requesting a stay of removal on behalf of Rivera. Until her case is heard, she will continue to seek refuge at the Holy Cross Retreat. Crystal Corrales, News 22.
We're learning more about several red flags regarding the gunmen who opened fire on a Texas church congregation over the weekend.
Diane Gallagher has the story.
Months before pleading guilty to assaulting his ex-wife and infant stepson in 2012, Texas church killer Devin Kelly briefly escaped from this New Mexico mental health facility. A police report shows that while stationed at Holloman Air Force Base, Kelly was institutionalized for attempting to carry out death threats on his commanding officers and had been caught trying to sneak guns onto the base. Now, officers searching for Kelly were advised that he, quote, suffered from mental disorders and was a threat to himself and others. Separate court documents show that Kelly was investigated for sexual assault and rape the following year, but charges were never filed.
He did not want him at his church.
Why not?
He said because he just thought that he was not a good person to be around.
Authorities say Kelly was familiar with the First Baptist Church in Sutherland Springs and attended activities there before carrying out the largest mass shooting in Texas state history.
When the first call came in, the Wilson County Sheriff's Office arrived within four minutes. I can tell you 4 minutes is a long time during an active shooter situation.
Investigators now hitting a roadblock, telling reporters that they have been unable to access the shooter's cell phone. But his online presence offering clues into his mindset ahead of the massacre. Friends say that Kelly started going after them online in recent months.
Picking on a lot of other students. Picked on me for losing weight. Also just, anti-God, preaching his beliefs of atheism, lots of gun violence videos.
Kelly also posting this picture of a rifle similar to the one used to carry out the attack.
Everybody's gonna die, that's what he said.
Survivor Roseanne Solis recounting her harrowing story to CNN.
The bullets passing me like that, and I could see it on the carpet. I said, if I don't move from here, I'm gonna die.
Solis explaining how she took cover under a church pew as the gunman unloaded, shooting her left shoulder.
What did you see when you got up?
Blood, dead people, dead bodies, dead children all over the place, outside. People screaming, looking for each other. Just terrible.
Vice President Mike Pence is expected to be in Sutherland Springs, Texas, Wednesday afternoon.
He's scheduled to meet with survivors at a local hospital.
Since the mass murder in Texas, churches are reevaluating their safety plans.
News 22's Mike Mihel spoke with some of the local church leaders to find out how they're keeping their congregations safe.
It's very cruel and very unfortunate.
Since the shooting that killed 26 churchgoers near San Antonio, church communities are facing the reality that Sunday service may not be so safe.
Because I'm responsible for all these people.
So I hope that it will never happen. But once in a while, I do think.
Pastor Alex Ureña from the Newman Center near NMSU says a lot of churches already have safety plans in place. A statement echoed by Pastor Dan Dodge from El Paso.
We review how to best make it safe for not only children but also adults that come. And so our job is always to be vigilant in the area of their safety.
Some of these steps they've taken include training church ushers and adding surveillance cameras.
So this is nothing new, like in the past we had incidents actually here in Las Cruces, but we have taken precautions since the past, having video cameras in the church, making sure that also that the doors are locked, that we have an alarm.
Their hopes are to let people know that they are safe at church, something that has been difficult for some in the wake of several mass shootings.
It sucks that we as a community, we can't even go out and see a movie or go to church.
But church leaders say that the church can still be a place where people can feel safe.
The words from our Lord says, "Be not afraid," So those things will continue happening, and hopefully no. But the reality of our world is that yes, the evil will continue appearing in many ways. But for us, it's not to stop attending church or not to stop worshiping our Lord.
And I pray for this country, man. Like we need to come together and stop this.
The pastors I spoke with said they will pray for the families of the victims and hope that shootings like this aren't as common in the future. Mike Vigil, News 22.
Stay tuned, Vicky. We'll be back with your national forecast.
And later this week, we show appreciation for our on-campus patriots and their mission. More on that when News 22 continues.
Las Cruces and El Paso share a lot of history. See why we say Texas history begins in El Paso on our El Paso Gold Heritage documentary series, broadcast Sunday nights on KRWG-TV. See Legends of El Paso's Mountains, Gunfights of the Old West, El Paso's Waco Tanks, Mexican Revolution sites in El Paso, and many more El Paso TV documentaries on KRWG-TV.
Saturday at 12 noon on KRWG-TV.
The KRWG-TV public file is available to the public at 2915 McPhee Circle, Milton Hall, Room 117, on the campus of New Mexico State University. Regular business hours are from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. Files are also available online at stations.fcc.gov.
Welcome back. You're watching News 22 Wednesday,
where news matters. All this week, we've been looking into the challenges facing veterans returning into civilian life and committing to college.
This is Veterans Appreciation Week here on campus. Today, the Student Veterans Organization set up a table outside the Corbett Student Center to raise awareness for veterans and their families on campus.
Basically, our mission is to help out veterans, to help out with transition, and not only for veterans, but dependents of veterans also.
The Student Veterans Organization tries to spread awareness to different issues such as suicide thoughts due to PTSD.
Help give thanks and give back to the NMSU community this week. From now until next Friday, November 17th, students, faculty, and staff can make donations to the Aggie Cupboard at any Sodexo restaurants on campus. All donations will be used to purchase Thanksgiving turkeys for those served by the Aggie Cupboard.
New Mexico State University Board of Regents is well underway in their search for a new chancellor. The board held a listening session at Dominici Hall yesterday for faculty, students, and supporters of NMSU. The board heard several members of the audience explain the direction they would like to see the board go in choosing the university's next president. Many in attendance say they want the chancellor to create a brand for the school and to focus on NMSU being a land-grant university. Interdisciplinary Studies Department head Patty Wojon says the faculty at NMSU needs to be the main focus point of the new chancellor.
I also want the regents and the next chancellor to be aware of the faculty work that's not present in graphs and so on and so forth. And that's one of the things I love the most about NMSU. The faculty are so dedicated and spend much more time one-to-one that I would challenge any of our peer institutions to show that they spend more time one-to-one with with students than our faculty at NMSU do.
The Board of Regents anticipates a final decision on a new chancellor by May. And Vicky is next with the national.gov forecast.
Taking a look at our national maps this week on Wednesday, these areas will be experiencing rain and showers. Cool air will be coming down from the north into Atlanta, New Orleans, and Memphis, while Florida stays here in those warm and humid temperatures. But in my next map, the West region is having some rain among snow in Seattle, and that cold air also moving in from the north, mixing in with other conditions, will lead to snow spreading from Saturday night to Sunday, causing travel disruptions, major passes, and snow covering the roads, and over a foot of snow covering the mountains. This leads to what I'm going to talk about in my next map. Looking at this, we can learn what we'll be expecting during the Thanksgiving time. This cold in Canada will be expanding, affecting the northwest of the United States, while places like Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and Texas are going to be having those warm temperatures. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll talk some New Mexico local temperatures. You're watching News 22 Wednesday.
Explore top places for outdoor adventure,
including extreme adventure hotspots
in West Virginia. From whitewater rafting to national parks on Travels with Darley.
Sunday at 4 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
On Masterpiece.
The hero of campaign.
Your husband is a reluctant hero, but England may yet have need of him.
Truro lacks an MP.
Your influence is great. There's much good you could do.
I'm no Leonardo. You are surely Mona Lisa.
Poldark on Masterpiece.
Thursday at 8 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
If the Acropolis had a roof, Foo Fighters would raise it. Here we go! It's an amazing once-in-a-lifetime Foo Fighters concert. Meet the band with your host Chad Smith of Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Welcome to Greece.
Join us when Foo Fighters rock the Acropolis on Landmark's Live in Concert. A great performance is special.
Friday at 9 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Welcome back for our New Mexico current conditions. Right now in Farmington, they are at 50 degrees, Santa Fe at 52, Gallup at 58, Clovis at 51, Socorro at 63, Roswell at 52, and Deming at 65. Tomorrow, New Mexico, Santa Fe is at 58, Gallup at 66, Albuquerque at 64, Socorro 68, Ruidoso 62, and Deming at 68. In Alamogordo tonight, we'll be having clear skies with a low of 39, and tomorrow a high of 67 with clear skies. In TRC tonight, also clear skies at 46, and tomorrow a high of 70. In Silver City tonight, they'll be having cloudy skies with a low of 39, and tomorrow at 65. And in the City of the Crosses tonight, we'll be having cloudy skies with a low of 43, and tomorrow at 68. I'll be back to talk about your 5-day forecast, but for now, back to Selena and Melissa.
After Sunday's shooting in Sutherland Springs, Texas, victims are being remembered.
Here are just some of the people who tragically lost their lives.
68-year-old Sarah Johnson and 77-year-old Dennis Johnson were killed. Dennis was a veteran who served in Operation Desert Shield, and Sarah cared for children in a church nursery for more than 30 years. They had been married for 44 years. They leave behind 6 children and many grandchildren. Other victims are Joanne Ward and her 2 daughters, Emily Garza and Brooke Ward. Her 5-year-old son, Rylan Ward, was shot several times and taken to the hospital. Her husband, Chris, and their daughter, 9-year-old Rihanna, were also in the church and survived the attack. Robert Warren and his wife Shawnee were high school sweethearts.
Robert served in the Air Force for 29 years. Their 2 sons are currently in the military on active duty. Victims of the massacre ranged in age from 18 months to 77 years old and included 1 unborn child. 20 other people were wounded. I'm Marlene Barraza for News 22.
So this Friday is the first official game of the season for the Aggies men's basketball team.
That should be fun to attend.
Yeah.
And David Guest is next with sports.
Thanks, guys. Coming up in sports, yes, you stole it from me. The Aggies men's basketball team opens their regular season, and local high school athletes are getting signed. Grab a seat because News 22 Sports is next.
Great Performances takes us inside the Tony-winning smash In the Heights. With its bright new cast of Broadway dreamers.
It won't be long now. I'm so excited!
We're going to change the world. Hamilton creator Lin-Manuel Miranda stars in his first triumph.
What do you do when your dreams come true?
On stage and off.
I'm home!
See how they hit the heights. With In the Heights on Great Performances.
Friday at 8 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
My heart keeps going back to Nashville.
Hi, Ray Stevens here to tell you about this week's episode of Cabaret Nashville. I sing about taking a bath and kissing a pig. Comedian James Gregory talks about jogging for donuts. And the Hell and High Water String Band play and sing for us. Confused? Just tune in this week and it will all become crystal clear.
Saturday at 4:30 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
This is KRWG-TV News 22 Sports.
Welcome back. I'm David Guest, bringing you the best. Now let's talk sports. One of New Mexico State's own is heading to the 2018 Reese's Senior Bowl. Wide receiver Jaleel Scott was lifting weights Tuesday when he was called into the coach's office. He is just the 5th Aggie to receive such offers.
It means that all my hard work and dedication during the off season and during the summer is really paying off. And my dad always taught me that if you work hard, then you could accomplish anything that you want in life. Learning stuff that I wasn't able to be taught, just picking apart people's brains that play wide receiver in the National Football League, so I could be the best receiver I could be in the future.
The JUCO transfer places 10th in the nation in receiving. He's also on the watch list for the Fred Biletnikoff Award. The New Mexico State men's basketball has not impressed their new head coach, Chris Jans.
When it's a first year and it's a lot of new faces, it's really, really hard. And unfortunately, we still have a long way to go. We're really hoping that at some point this year we look back, and we're hopeful as a staff that we can look back at this game and it be the impetus for change. I think we've got their attention. I think they're going to listen more than they've ever listened since I've arrived, and we're going to try to use this to our advantage as best we can.
In the exhibition games thus far, New Mexico State has allowed their opponents to shoot 63.2% of their two-point field goal attempts. To find success this season, NMSU will have to stop ball handlers from penetrating, stretch the floor with their backcourt weapons, and remain a force on the glass. The fall early signing period began on Wednesday and runs through November 15th for all sports except football and soccer. 5 Division I commits are expected to sign this week. Centennial's distance runner Jessa Gagetz signed Wednesday with Wyoming. Las Cruces girls basketball player Sarah Abney will be signing with Sacramento State. Tristan Lively will sign with New Mexico to play baseball. Softball star Rylan Gonzalez signed with New Mexico State. And Oñate girls basketball player Jaden Martinez will sign with San Diego State. The sports world mourns the loss of 2-time Cy Young Award winner and a loving father and husband, Roy Halladay. During his time with the Toronto Blue Jays and Philadelphia Phillies, Halladay was a 203-game winner and one of only 6 pitchers in history to win a Cy Young in both leagues. His most iconic moment came during his no-hitter in the 2010 NLDS game. And that's all for sports tonight. Join us for more sports action tomorrow. Still ahead on News 22, we'll be back to take a look at your 5-day forecast. But first, ever built a space-themed chicken coop? It's all right, just wing it. More on that when News 22 returns.
Next time on A Chef's Life. Mayonnaise is major here. I'd go so far as to call it the mother sauce of the South.
The more oil you add, the thicker your mayonnaise is going to be.
I like mayonnaise.
Oh, God, she's like taking tablespoons of it.
Saturday morning at 10 on KRWG-TV.
Coming up on Austin City Limits.
On the other line, it's just people taking time from the people who have no more to give.
Saturday at 9 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Let's take a look at our top stories. A woman from Mexico is taking refuge in a local church. Cristal Corrales spoke to her about the actions she's taking to keep from being deported. New details are still coming up about the man who killed churchgoers in Sutherland Springs, Texas. The man was stationed at Holloman Air Force Base and was institutionalized in New Mexico in the past. And the search for the NMSU's new next chancellor is moving forward. The border regions held a listening session for faculty, students, and the NMSU community last night.
This Idaho chicken coop is out of this world. A Boise couple built the UFO-themed coop over the summer. Inside of it is climate controlled so the chickens can stay warm while they're aboard. The couple even added flashing lights to make it even more extraterrestrial. They're planning to add an automatic ramp in the future. The couple's stellar or interstellar efforts have them going viral. A video on Facebook has their creation at close to 1 million views. Sorry.
Well, that's cute and interesting.
Those chickens are going to be warm.
I hope the warm temperatures stay with us.
Yeah, so oddly enough, today it rained, and we are going to be seeing sunny skies from now on. So Thursday we'll be having sunny skies, and throughout Sunday we'll also be experiencing that, and then Monday we'll have partly sunny skies. So it will be pretty warm from now on, you guys.
Really nice. I'm Selena Quintana.
And
local support for a portion of today's programming is provided by Wells Fargo. Our support of Aggie students goes beyond just banking. By supporting News 22, we're giving back to the community. Wells Fargo. Together, we'll go far. This news brief in Espanol is brought to you by Noticias 22, Spanish language news for southern New Mexico and West Texas. Noticias 22.
Bienvenidos a Noticias 22, les saluda Melissa Barraza. Una mujer de Las Cruces se encuentra tras las rejas después de golpear a una joven de 14 años. Brandon Nicole Tapia, de 32 años de edad, ya cuenta con cargos de abuso infantil y delincuencia a un menor. Investigadores aprendieron que el lunes por la mañana varios niños esperaban el autobús, esto cerca de la avenida Valley View y la calle Harrison. Los niños comenzaron a discutir después de que un niño preguntó si la madre de Tapia había estado involucrada en una pelea el fin de semana. La hija de Tapia se fue solo para regresar junto con su madre. Supuestamente Tapia comenzó a gritarle a los niños. La joven le pidió a Tapia que se fuera del lugar y fue entonces cuando comenzaron a discutir y agredirse físicamente hasta que Tapia golpeó a la menor de edad en la cara. Tapia huyó de la escena y los niños reportaron el incidente al llegar a la escuela. Tapia fue arrestada el lunes por la tarde y se encuentra en la cárcel de Doña Ana, inicialmente sin fianza. La policía de Las Cruces ha identificado al hombre que murió después de ser atropellado por un auto la semana pasada. El hombre de 59 años, Orland Joliffe de Las Cruces, fue arrastrado por un auto en la avenida Valley y cerca de la calle Farney mientras él caminaba. La policía comenta que el conductor acusado de atropellar a Joliffe huyó de la escena. Otro conductor descubrió al hombre tirado en la calle y es cuando llamó a primeros auxilios. La policía sí pudo localizar al conductor del accidente. La investigación continúa. Para Noticias 22, yo soy Melissa Barraza.
This is KRWG Las Cruces, serving the